Yeah.
Did I unmute everything? Oh, Stream is having the worst time. Streamlabs rather. Hi, Stream. As you can see, I'm dressed as a unicorn today. I have a particularly fantastic headache, so I don't know how long this stream's gonna go, but we're gonna find out. I don't recommend this, for the record. I don't recommend it, but I will say I'm doing this because I want to. So there you go. All right, tonight we are going to revisit Treasure Tuesday. Can any of y'all tell me what happened last time?
There was a priest guy.
There was a priest guy.
Whose ass I intend to kick.
Yep. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I have the word feelings written in very large letters in the middle of one of my note pages.
Yeah, because I gave Relic a real hard time for just sort of abandoning Marthala, because...
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, he left me. Yep, that's the feelings.
I have abandonment issues.
So,
well, you wouldn't go with me.
Relic was talking about being a holy man, not being a holy man. He did some teaching. He says, if these books find out I'm alive, they'll keep hunting me down, and no one who's with me will be safe, so let's run. Harlick was annoying. I have that written down. Marthala wanted to head back and get more info.
Harlick was deeply upset we didn't take him.
Yes, I remember that. I also wrote down, Harlick asks so many questions, but I didn't write down any of the questions you asked. So, you were annoying.
So I was interrogating Relic on his time as a stone.
Oh, that's right. I think you were also interrogating him about his time with the bad men. Because I wrote down, I think, what are answers to your questions. Anyway, Quentin keeps trying to get you all off the road, which doesn't work very well. Marthala and Drew sneak off. I think Harlick was asking questions as a distraction.
That was part of it, yeah.
So Marthala and Drew go to the Temple of Coin Maiden and talk to a couple of the acolytes there. Mm-hmm. And then...
Friendly conversation.
Said he
no
was...
threats whatsoever.
They tell you that the priest is going back to Walde.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not tell Relic that.
Nope, we're not going to either.
Druge says, what do you feel like doing? And Marthala says, I feel like cleaving every red-robed man in half right now, but that might not be appropriate. I really enjoy the things I happen to write down. And then other things where I just write, like, Harlick was annoying. Like...
I do remember that I attempted to dress down Marthala and Druge, but
that's true.
That's about all I remember about it.
It didn't go well.
Nope.
I mean, it wasn't successful, but I still tried.
A for effort?
Relic says that they've been hunting him for 40 years. Seems like an excessively long time.
I told you I was an old man.
You are an old man, yes. They asked what you took, and you said stuff, and you hid it up north. He does not want to go back to get them. He doesn't have those things with him. I wrote down Quentin picks a fight, I think. Did you pick a fight?
That I remember.
No, it's about his girlfriend.
Oh.
The armorer.
Quentin's
what?
Girlfriend.
I don't have a girlfriend.
That blacksmith lady.
Blacksmith.
Whatever, shut up, you're not my mom.
How do you keep picking up women in these games that your wife is running?
Okay. So, first of all, it's probably some subtext thing. But, also, I don't initiate it in either game, and definitely did not in the other one.
I guess
I feel like
I
you
am playing the
absolutely
NPCs.
100% had a part in this.
Yeah, you did. In this one, you did.
Quentin I fed into. The other game, absolutely have never encouraged.
I guess it
That's
makes
not my
sense
fault.
because I'm playing the NPCs. So, yeah. Okay, Harlick does walk back to the Tank Bros, who are Arm and Trunk. I wrote down that Harlick talks in circles, and Marthala tells him to get to the point, so that's good. He seems offended. I wrote that down as well. Yeah, and then I wrote down he won't stop talking with periods between each of the words. think I'm capturing your character quite well.
Yeah, compared to that.
And then Druge moves him aside, so that's good. Quentin asks which way we're going, and Relic says, away. I could not be more clear. And then Marthala and Druge make it seem like they were wiping out the tracks from behind them. So Quentin says we could take this piece back to Walde, or we could head in a new direction. Relic never goes to the same place twice. And Harlick asks for a list of where he's been. So y'all are trying to convince him to go back to Walde.
I think we said something about leaving him in a camp outside town and
Yeah.
we could get our money and then we could move on.
Yeah, yeah.
Potentially through the boats connection with Harlick.
Yep. Quentin blushes when they make a comment, when somebody makes a comment about seeing that blacksmith he's fond of, and that's when Relic notices he's not green anymore.
Yeah, I think that's where we ended the session too.
No, because
nope.
Brandel had something about flowers that he just carries
Oh.
around with
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, the only note I have in here, the entire 4 pages of notes, is Brandel helps Quentin by handing him here's a flower, a pretty leaf, and a pretty rock.
Nice. Yeah,
That's it.
Let's go.
That's all you did, apparently.
I love the beach verbal. I
The beach-
love him.
He's my favorite.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
What are beach flowers?
Dude,
Starfish.
seriously? No, there are flowers that grow on beaches. Do none of you go to beaches? What's wrong
I
with you?
don't know what they are.
You know he's a
I could
Midwest
look it up if I had.
I'm looking it up right now. Beach flowers. Yeah, these ones. What are they called?
I am also looking.
This one's
Okay.
called a plumeria flower. So there. And it's pink, and I have decided
Oh,
that
I see. Yeah,
that's
they're
the
kinda
flower.
pretty.
Yeah. Okay. And then, okay, so I wrote down that you learned that Quentin got a crush, y'all. Quentin got a girlfriend, or he's about to get one. I think that was 3 different
You have way more
comments.
confidence in Quentin than I do.
Yeah, I think there were many comments that I sort of smushed together. Marthala learned that Relic is an abandoning butthead.
Yep.
Druge and Marthala are fairly reactionary. I think you might have threatened the acolytes a little bit.
No.
Couldn't find them to threaten.
We learned
What?
that Brand has plants in his pouch. That the religious fellow went back to Walde and apparently doesn't get along with other religions. Relic is a liar, says Harlick, because
Yeah.
he's not
And
officially
everyone else.
associated with a religion. We learned that Harlick gets easily distracted, and we learned that Marthala is down with beating up holy people.
Did we really learn that Harlick is easily distracted? I think that's just reinforced.
I think things just
Yeah.
repeat on a regular basis, you know? I think that happens.
Would one say that Marthala is wholly invested in beating him?
And then for session, I forgot that Brandel took the RP point for,
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
for saying, I have some petals in my bag and also just sitting through most of this and eating granola. You took the RP
yeah,
point
that's
for that
fun.
whole
looked
session
like
of
interrogating,
epic role
yeah.
playing from the other players. Yeah, I like that you did it. Honorable
That's when he was
mentions.
interrogating Relic. Yeah.
Honorable mentions go to Marthala and Relic's conversation at the beginning because it had all the feelings. Harlick's scolding of the tank bros. Hang on one second. Sorry. Let's see here. Other good moments were Marthala and Druze were learning more at the church. I don't know what that one is. Quentin for leading
We
into
were
the
basically about to kneecap a bunch of poor little girls to get the
I don't-
information we wanted.
I don't know why this has completely escaped my memory. I believe you.
We probably suppressed it, to be honest with you.
That's probably the healthiest, yeah.
We also Another good moment was Quentin leaning into the girlfriend thing, and Marthala for trying to pretty woman Quentin on the way back to town.
Yep.
What is that?
Yep, that happened.
She was probably trying to dress him up and get him nicely fragranced and stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I was trying
Yeah, she
to
was
not
trying to give him
smell
tits
awful, I
and-
believe.
Yeah.
And trying to get him to give her perfume. There we go. Those were the right pronouns. Good job, Diana.
I'm just reading what's in chat. So Barden Barbarian says context for Harlech should just always be shut up. And Luth said, LOL, yeah, would one say Marthala is wholly, quote unquote, invested in beating these priests? You're fired. Quentin. Barden Barbarian says, no, stop. TechSoup says, no, no one would not. Barbarian tells you to leave. So yeah, you're fired. And then you said shut up and then took it back because you think that Barden Barbarian is Diana?
Yeah, well, Stash has Stash in chat, and I realized that it wasn't.
It is. Justice, I don't know that Justice
Yeah.
has the password for the Twitch stuff.
Nope.
Good.
That tracks.
Good.
Not terrible.
I
Not
just
terrible.
figured if
You're not going to
Relic's
tell.
context was shut up, yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So we are trying out a new stream layout. I've been watching some other streams, and they try to make the biggest element the thing that moves around the most. So that's me. And we're kind of theater of minding this right now, so the map is a little smaller. And also, when we originally started streaming this, we were streaming it so I could share the map with you. Now I can just share it through Discord, so I'll just do that from now on. And then I've got all your little text boxes right together. And then I had an empty space, so I put the pet cam in it. So that was my entire thought process for this entire new template. You're welcome.
Looks good.
Thanks. Okay, so we are headed back to Walde. You're going to stop by the blacksmith. And are you going to leave Relic there, or did you decide on that?
We were discussing, we were just discussing setting up camp out town so he didn't have to technically return to town.
Right.
And then we could finish off, get paid, and move on.
Just for clarification, at any point I hear what you folks learned about why we're going to Wald / that the priest was returning to Wald? Because I don't know that I
don't know.
I don't think you know
No,
that.
I don't think so. Probably not, honestly.
I
No,
think-
it was very
I don't
much-
remember.
I know for sure that I don't
anything
know.
from you.
We were very specifically couching it in terms of this guy paid us to go get this thing. We should just go get paid. Maybe
I don't
get
think-
our money out of the bank
I don't
and
think-
then move on.
I don't think Quentin knows either.
I
No
think,
one
Harlech
but
just
Druge
vented,
Okay, that's
and
true.
Marthala know
Yeah.
like
about the
vented that you
priest
guys.
beatings that are about to happen.
I think Harlech vented at Marthala and Druge about like being
You
left
did.
behind on something that you obviously
You did.
you didn't know what you were looking for, and
Yeah.
you essentially gave him nothing, which
Yes.
is fine. Just trying
Yes.
to make sure that is exactly the interaction that happened.
I think that sounds right.
Super is.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So I think what happened was Quentin was like, maybe we go back and swap in the piece, and Druge and Marthala were like, yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Basically.
And I think also Relic was like, as long as we don't go back the same way, and Quentin and Druge have a fairly good knowledge of this area, so they were like, yes, sure, we'll do that.
Swap
Taking it
in the
from-
piece. What was that?
What did you say?
The piece we were hired to go get that second piece to the machinery.
You remember in the book, you were collecting pieces of
Right.
that machine?
But we have both of them.
Right, we were gonna go back and give it to the guy that hired us so we could get paid and be done with this area.
Yeah, they aren't our stuff.
No, we're hanging on to them because Harlech is definitely hanging on to them. Harlech has the original piece, and he has probably
We'll deal
been
with that when we get
thinking
there.
about
but that's
slotting
what
the other one
we
in.
It's a good thing that there are bigger, scarier animals than Harlech in this group then, right?
I do want to mention that Felix told you to keep the pieces because he implied that it would be easier for you to find the new ones. However, he did say when you find pieces, if you bring them back, he'll pay you the next bit. So I think that's
We
the
gotta
part
check
you were
on
leaning
Gorgo.
into. And Marthala was to check on Gorgo.
Cool.
Make sure he knows about his college savings funds that's in the bank. That is absolutely for him.
Yep,
Mhm.
100%.
Yep. Okay. So, How do y'all feel about me snapping my fingers and you all being back in Wald, or at least outside of Wald? Or would you like to do random encounter stuff on the way?
I don't know.
I think just in broad strokes, Quentin would want to work with, since he's got some travel time, work with Drew
I forgot you have
and
you have a puppy.
and Marrow, so we can work on like coordinated attacks. Since Quentin and Drew typically had been fighting together, he wanted to try and start incorporating the dog into it.
Okay.
Fastball special, you guys. Let's go.
Yes. Yes.
You don't know. You do. Well, you know.
What did you say, Druge?
Fastball.
Fastball special.
Oh, are you implying you're gonna throw the dog?
That is a particular reference.
Don't
that
throw
you
the
do not get.
dog.
I mean, originally we were gonna throw Quentin. Now
That's
that
okay.
Quentin could hold the. Quentin could hold.
But
the
then you
dog.
get
No,
through
just throw
Quentin
Quentin.
throwing the dog.
Yep. There you go.
I will
If
not
you
condone
land
the
it right,
throwing
the
of
dog
any
will
dogs.
enjoy it.
No,
Can handle it.
I will not condone the throwing of any dogs. Quentin, yes, not Marrow. Okay. Anybody else doing? What's everybody else doing on the way back? Are you is Relic pouting, Harlock being annoying, the usual stuff, or is there more? Is Brandel picking up all the flowers? Like, what's up?
Marthala is making it very obvious that she's deeply upset with Relic still. Like, she's actively veering close to him and then stomping away from him, and childish stuff like that.
So I'm picking up that Marthala is not the most subtle of creatures.
Yeah,
Now is when you're picking
the
it
art.
up?
Yeah, the art of subtlety is kind of lost on her.
Doesn't have that. Okay. How's Relic reacting to this?
Well, he's awfully nervous about going back to a place he's already been because that's always been the way he always does it, not go back to the same place ever again. So, he sees her and he's like, "No, love, it's okay," yada yada yada, but he's also very distracted.
So you're trying to sort of explain things to Marthala, but at the same time you're really distracted?
Yeah, I'm nervous and scared, but I can't act nervous and scared around these lot because they see me as the brave protector of all of them.
I love the head cannon inside Relic's.
That's adorable.
Yeah. So I know that they all depend on me to be brave at all times.
Oh my god.
So I've got to keep a stiff upper lip, even if I am very nervous about all of this, because I'm fairly certain if they find me, they will kill me.
Cool. Okay.
They
Good to
can
know.
Certainly try.
Now, what is Harlock doing throughout this long walk back to Wald?
Aside from being
Annoying.
super annoying with
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
when that gets tiring, he's probably practicing a couple of spells, as
Cool.
he tends to do. I haven't for sure figured out what those are, but one of them is like, do you want information about what one of them might be, or are we leaving that alone?
You can share that if you like, or you can reveal it when you use the spell. It's entirely up to you.
He's probably going to be like, the obvious one would be, I don't know if that's super obvious, would be tongues, which is
If
just
you're
like
muttering to yourself, that'd be.
like a universal communication spell. It's like, oh, I can just talk in whatever, or the person that I touch can speak whatever language they want. So it might be him practicing by like doing this to people and then talking to them in weird languages to see if they understand him.
Yeah, that
So
sounds
that could be
annoying.
interesting.
Yeah. Sounds super annoying.
Do you
Sounds perfect
understand
for you.
him? How do you feel? Yeah, stuff like that.
Let's say you do this to Brandel. Does that sound right? Brandel's a fairly
I mean,
willing.
he's low key. He's probably not
Why
gonna
don't
punch
you
me or something. That sounds right.
Alright, sure. Yeah.
How does Brandel respond to Harlock coming over, very deliberately putting his hand like on your arm and then speaking a language you do not understand.
I mean, do I not understand?
I think the first time a couple times he tries it, it doesn't work super well, or like maybe like he seems to be talking in like Italian, but it sounds like French or something.
You only know the
Cross
swear
wires.
Like, what? I probably just like stare at him for a little bit, be like, what?
All of a sudden,
What?
you really want to know where the bathroom is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're all being very great about texting me through Discord, which I super love. Please keep doing it. But I am easily distracted today. So normally I'd be able to be like, yes, facilitating conversation, reading stuff while I'm facilitating and today it's kind of like one or the other. So apologies. Okay, so
Yeah,
Randall, is there anything else you're doing while in between Harlick like babbling at you?
I mean, probably not picking up a flower or two. Maybe like trying to maybe cast a spell every now and then just to see what happens.
Is it flammable? What happens?
It's a beach. That's what you're doing.
So
Does it
like, is
sandalwood? No.
this the kind of thing where you like make a tree explode in the difference and then but like everyone turns around and glares at you and you turn invisible? Like is that the kind of thing that's happening?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if I could make a tree explode, if like
I
per
don't know.
se, but
Something.
you know.
Yeah, you do something and
But yeah.
it like it's like in movies where like the guy in the back does something really loud when you're all trying to be quiet and everybody turns around and glares at you, and in this case you turn invisible.
Oh yeah, I'm just like gone.
Good. Okay. Druge, are you doing anything else besides participating in Quentin's drills?
Yeah, participating with Quentin and Marrow and hanging out there. And if Marthala is ever sulking and pouting in his direction, the tank bros will hang out. But generally, he is fairly reserved, more so than usual, which is, for him, kind of a thing. So not necessarily super noticeable. He's just a little withdrawn.
I bet Marthala. Well, I don't know. Marthala's kind of pouting out loud, so I don't know if she'd notice.
No, she'd
Druge's-
notice.
Yeah. Okay.
She would 100% notice. And like she knows Druge well enough to know that he probably doesn't want to talk about it, or he would just talk about it. So she'll do that thing where she's like she hangs out close just in case he needs anything.
I
But
think
she's
that
not
sounds
gonna
right.
pester. Just sort of like helicopters a little ways away.
And that's definitely part of the reason that, not entirely, but part of the reason that Quentin's like, hey, let's practice our moves.
Okay.
Talk
And
about
then
it.
you guys do choreography.
It's
And
Martha-
one,
like,
and
what
two,
is Martha-
and three,
yeah,
and four.
yeah, exactly. Like we're doing like a basket toss, and like, what's Martha's reaction to that?
You know, she's probably not surprised, to be honest with you. She's like, ah, yes, now I understand.
This makes sense. All right.
Jazz tap.
So you all spend a couple of low-key days getting back to Wald. I think you're approaching the city probably from, we'll say, the side that sorry, yeah, the smith is on. So I remember that was outside the walls.
Left. Yeah.
Yeah. But before you get up to the city, what's Relic's reaction to getting even closer to a place he's left?
Well, he's not going to go in. That's for damn sure.
Okay. What are you going to do instead?
Ah, it's because you've been here before.
Right. Yeah, and that might result in people seeing me, in which case, some of the things that I might have said, I might not have said. It makes it's just easier to keep up with all your lies if you don't go back there, right? I don't remember.
If you were to ballpark, how many lies have you told?
That's a ridiculous question, mate.
Why don't you just put on one of your disguises?
Oh,
We
yeah.
could put you in
I,
stilts.
for- I forgot that was what we were going to do on the trip back.
I was gonna
Don't you
ask
also
you
have
about
like
that.
a mustache drawn on your face right now?
Yes,
Oh,
I
that
think
was
you do.
Druge.
No, I thought
No,
we
I-
got revenge.
I think you also have something drawn on your face, but I can't remember.
Well then, sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. I reckon I could do that to get my money.
Oh,
Do
don't worry
like,
about that. We'll handle your money for you. You know.
mate, you remember last time when we were there and they were all like official and shit, and I tried to get other people's money, but they wouldn't
Yeah,
let
you
me
and
because
Marthala have a combined account, and you know she can handle it.
Yes, you can count me.
Very reassuring.
And I think by this point, Quentin's not really trying to like scam him out of it. He'll just wink at him because he's giving him a hard time.
She's trying to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah. Just take his mind off it.
I stab him with a nail and cast heat metal.
Oh, shit.
No, I do
Ow.
not do that.
Good thing
But I do have a handful of nails.
In real life, or like, right? Relic is holding a handful
No.
of nails.
Well, I have it in my. I'm looking through my equipment, and I have a handful of nails that I picked up from that dungeon thing, with the express purpose of using it for heat metal later. But yeah, I don't really have any spells that help. Yeah, I gotta use my disguise kit.
Mhm.
I'm going to dress myself up as a child.
Yes.
The ugliest, foul
Is it a
mouthed
good disguise?
ever.
Please roll me.
He didn't get hit out of with an ugly stick. Fell out of the top of the tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Good lord, what do you
And
roll
then
for
swore
that?
a lot.
Hang on, I'm looking at your sheet.
Well,
Hey, this is random because I just remembered it. But what about that stuff I got from the temple? What does
Dude,
that qualify
How
as?
long has it been? I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a weird thing of ink and paper
It's all rotten.
It's
that
all
I like
gross.
threw money.
Jeez.
Didn't I tell you
Spoiled.
that if I give you something and you don't write it down, I'm gonna do horrible things to it? Didn't I tell you
You
that?
didn't tell me what it was. You just said like it was dusty and
it's
it
just
was
fancy
unused.
ink.
You picked this
It
up
was
where?
Kinda fancy.
I think
At
it
the
was
temple.
just materials for writing spells into your book.
Oh, at the
Right, so,
Temple of the
like-
Coin Maiden?
Right. I went to the temple and they're like, "Hey,
It
I'm
was
looking
just
for ink."
paper and ink. It's
Okay,
it's
so
just
like nothing special about it.
no. I
Okay.
mean, it's
Just
it's
a
really good ink, and it's like nice thick
It's good
vellum-y
enough to, like,
paper.
do spell stuff with.
Yes, yeah, it's really high quality
Cool.
ink. Yeah, you give them like
That's
a
really
platinum
what I
for it
was
or
thinking.
something. Yeah, you can make spells with this.
I mean, I didn't like. I gave the platinum at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember how to do disguise. Can you help Druge? How does he? What does he roll for that?
Generally, that's argued as like performance.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, you do have a
Um,
really high performance, so I'll take that. Does that sound okay, Relic?
Yeah, and I get to add a proficiency bonus because I'm using a disguise kit and I am a proficient in disguise.
Great,
Ah.
do that.
All right. That is a 24.
All right, so tell me what this baby looks like. Like what?
The baby.
Baby.
Like
Describe yourself as an infant, sir.
Like, do you like put your hair under a bald cap? Are you gonna make
no.
somebody
No,
carry
not a
you?
baby.
Hair on your bald spot.
Did say a baby,
Not-
I think.
Oh, child.
Child. Okay, so
Yeah, so in my disguise kit, there's cosmetics and hair dye,
Mhm.
props, things of that nature. So I'm gonna go a Tiny Tim route, and I'm gonna fashion a little crutch out of a tree branch, and I'm gonna get a little hat and rub soot on my face, and cover up my face, and then use some cosmetics to cover up my wrinkles and scars and whatnot. And then I'll affect a voice like this. Hi, mister. I'm just a little boy.
Say God bless us, everyone.
I have
God bless us, everyone.
I have to let this work, but I gotta say, like GM to player, that does not sound like a little kid to me.
I don't think it doesn't get
Oh boy.
I am just saying, but like with a
Boy.
24, like people are probably gonna look at you a little bit weird, but they're gonna let that fly.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm hanging out with a group of hoodlums.
Yeah. Also, like, what's the situation here? Are you gonna like hold
They're
someone's
gonna think we
hand?
kidnapped you.
Yeah.
Well,
Welcome
see,
to Treasure Tuesday, where we traffic children.
Well, you know, there is an orphanage that we know about.
Ooh,
Hmm.
that's
Oh.
true.
Perhaps we should give the child to the
Hmm.
orphanage?
Hey, that's what I'm saying. And then skip down.
I don't remember
no,
there
I
being
don't
an
want nothing to
orphanage
do with
either.
this group.
Yeah,
Are
Yeah,
we,
the
like-
crazy.
Are we
The-
like
the-
super
the-
close to town, or like?
That wasn't an orphanage. That was an insane asylum.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it was just kids who were there, though. Like,
Potato.
Also, not to drag things too far back, but there was also that dragon we left outside of town.
Yeah.
oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh,
That
Uh,
dragon
I
went.
I don't
No.
think that
No.
dragon stayed there.
absolutely
No.
forgot
Remember,
about
Geth took that dragon, and they went to find the dragon's sisters.
Okay, cool, gotcha.
that. Oh, nice. All right.
That's
no
how
dragon.
we resolved that
Forgot
one.
about that.
Yeah. Oh, same.
No, unfortunately, the Geth player, once we went into lockdown, it was really difficult for him to be able to come to game. We still hold out hope that he'll come someday. I even still have all of his stuff on this template, just invisible. It's just too difficult with that many kids at home and stuff. So, yeah, that was our hand wavy bullshit way of he'll be back someday, flying on the back of a baby
Riding
dragon.
a dragon.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Hey guys.
It's in a place where all dragons go to play with the other dragons.
Okay, so let's resolve this. Relic is going to be successfully disguised as a child, and what's the cover story here? Like, which again will be successful because you rolled a 24. But like, is one of these people supposed to be your parent? Were you found in the woods? Like, what are we looking at here?
That's the plate.
Well, yeah, yeah. They're taking care of me. I got a rich uncle who hired them to take me from one town to another and make sure that I got there safely.
Sorry, run that by me one more time.
Yeah. So I got a rich uncle. See, my parents died, so yeah, I'm an orphan. But I got a rich uncle up north who paid these ne'er-do-wells to escort me up there and make sure I made it back to his house safe.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Mm-hmm. So tell me more
Yeah.
about this.
Rich uncle, yeah.
He's real rich. He made his money in textiles.
Is he actually like well off, or is just his first name is Rich?
I have
This is
told you
probably could be
so many
either.
times that you're fired.
That was not a pun. That was is this something where we get into it and then Relic's, the little boy, is just like, no, his name is Richard.
So it's a genuine question
He
because
doesn't
you
have
think
any money.
Relic.
This is a security run.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's not really paying you, and he doesn't really exist either. So what are you going on
Right.
about,
Like,
mate?
I should get paid.
I'm gonna stab you in your sleep.
With a hot nail.
Well, it's a good thing I don't sleep.
Okay. That sounds like a good cover story. That's good to know. So you are going back into town with everybody, so you're all going to stay as a group and not split the party.
Yeah, I'm reluctant, but my father made some good points, and I should probably not split the group.
and leave her again.
Well,
Probably
yeah.
shouldn't do that either. Okay, well, y'all head into town. Do you stop by the blacksmith before you head deeper into town?
Yes, we do.
No, it's fine. I have these knives. Like, I'm good. Like, if we can just, it's okay.
Druge will catch him by the shoulder with the trunk and steer him towards the blacksmith.
I mean, they could use sharpening, I suppose. Like, I could, maybe I'll pick up some more sheets. And...
I sprinkle a little perfume on his cloak as Druge is like pushing him so that he smells real nice.
Does Brandel remind him that he has a pretty rock and a pretty flower?
I'll just assume he'll remember.
Oh, can't assume that. You gotta tell him. It's very important. Okay, so Quentin, one of the apprentices meets you at the front of this long sort of stable building. And I'm so sorry, excuse me. Says, "Welcome, my mistress can be with you shortly, or I can take care of any small tasks you might have, such as sharpening knives or."
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to, get this.
I would really love to have my sword sharpened. I'll push Quentin behind me and kind of just like thrust my sword into his hands. And I would really appreciate it if we could just get this all sharpened up. I'm using it soon, later on today in town, so I'd love for it to be
has to be
as
tip
sharp
top.
as
Sell it on
possible.
someone's spine.
The apprentice is taking this in kind of like he's not really sure what's happening, but he takes the sword and he says, "Of course, that will just be one moment, and 4 copper. I will be right with you. You can have a seat on the bench."
I'll nod.
I'm a little boy.
I'll nod to it politely and then turn to Druge real quick and just go, "I saved it."
Druge will come as close to laughing through his trunk as is loxodonly possible.
Like snorting out his nose.
Yeah.
Quentin will lean over to Relic and be like, you don't have to tell everyone that you're a little boy. Like, it doesn't. Just never mind.
Look, mate, trust me. I've done disguises a long time. I got this under control.
The blacksmith looks over, is like, or the apprentice looks over, like.
Okay, I'm gonna lean over and poke Relic in the shoulder and make him invisible.
Oh, God.
Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Certainly can. I don't think it's a save or anything either. I think it just happens.
The apprentice's eyebrows disappear up into his hair because he's like, "What the shit?" And then you see him very consciously make the decision of, "I don't care. I'm just gonna sharpen the sword."
They turn me invisible. All right. We'll see what happens here.
What does Relic do now that he's invisible?
Oh, nothing just yet. He's going to look down. He's going to notice that he's invisible. He's going to look around.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I could get used to this, mate. How long am I invisible?
This is a mistake.
You got an hour.
A whole hour. Hot damn. Okay. So, nobody can see me, even the furbog, right?
I mean, have you moved?
Not yet. I'm just now noticing that I'm invisible.
But you can't see him, Brandel, right?
Nope.
Okay, just checking.
Can't see anything.
All right. This is internal monologue. This is a pretty good disguise too, I reckon. But you know what? That furbog, he could have just done this from a flipping start. Are you wearing shoes?
Brandel.
Who?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Don't wear boots or nothing.
Nah.
Oh,
Oh.
that's too bad.
Well, I was
think
gonna
I know
tie
your
your shoes
answer.
to
Yeah.
I was expecting flip-flops.
Oh,
Yeah.
they would be flip-flops if anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't.
Yeah, probably.
Well, in that case, if he's not wearing proper shoes like a proper man, well, what I'm gonna do is nothing for the time being. Just nothing. I'm
Okay,
gonna stand right where I was and hold action.
got it. Okay.
Okay.
So the apprentice is sharpening this sword. What's everybody else up to? The you can see the blacksmith very clearly in the back of the tent. She's got her back to you. She seems to be making something impressive.
I think.
Oh, I didn't know
would
she was
probably-
visible.
Oh yeah,
Okay, holding action.
got it.
Oh no. I think Quentin would be kind of like working that custom shield she made and like fiddling with it like it didn't quite fit. Like, I don't know how subtle this is, but he's very like,
It's not.
like, oh, maybe it needs to be adjusted, or you know.
So you say that out loud?
I think he'd probably like, quote unquote, mutter to himself like, oh, it seems to have got a little banged up in that last fight. Should probably have this fixed a little bit.
Sorry, I'm trying to decide what to write down for what your shield thing is, and I just called it the shield army thing. So there's a couple of apprentices doing different kinds of work. Like you can see like smaller work in the front, like sharpening swords and that kind of thing, and just sort of building up to the back where there's rather brawny young lady beating out a sword in this long.
I thought that was gonna be justice, and it was.
That's not what I meant.
I tried very hard, so I'm glad it wasn't me.
That's not what I meant. I'm sorry. She's making armor. She's making armor.
Just banging it on out.
Nope,
Fine.
she's making armor.
Usually, I'm the only one that makes her blush that much.
She's making armor, and so one of the other apprentices nearby approaches and says, "Oh, sorry, yeah." Approaches and says, "I couldn't help but overhear. Is this something that we made? It's possible. It's possible. We can make some adjustments if you need. It's something we'd be willing to do."
Yeah. It was made custom here. Like this part is a little bit tight when I make this movement, and then this part ends up a little bit loose and it kind of slides. It doesn't come off, but it.
May I ask, are you making like very large gestures, like when I go like this?
Yeah, probably going for like overhand and like. This is probably true. Like I would assume, like some of the leather is stretched in a way,
Like
and
posing.
using an excuse to make really big, like overhand guard moves or things like that.
Very, very loudly behind him, I'll say, "Oh, problems like that need a master blacksmith."
Oh god.
So
Really loud.
I'm okay, Rosie. Good girl. She's alerting because she thinks I'm crying. Good girl.
I have to write that down. Problems like this need a master blacksmith. So you do catch the attention of the blacksmith, and she turns around, sort of curious, like what is disrupting my calm workspace. Sees the apprentice.
Can I interrupt real quick before you get much further?
Sure.
Is it just my action that so
Oh yeah.
I pickpocketed somebody at some point and you said that I got string. That was all I got out of it. So I would like to attempt to use that string to tie it between two things, between Quentin and the blacksmith, and with the goal of him tripping. Because I'm invisible until I cast a spell or attack.
Oh, I hope this works for him in the long run, and he like trips into her arms and they
Yeah,
fall in love
that's what I was
immediately.
thinking.
Okay.
I'm setting a trap, a trip trap.
Okay.
You're gonna owe me a tross.
Tyler believes that Marthala is on fire tonight, so that's
Not
good.
wrong.
Okay, so I
yeah.
I hear you.
That's fine.
The blacksmith
Yeah.
actually okay, so the blacksmith notices what's going on, notices that the apprentice is like making a sort of small adjustments to the shield arm, and she kind of peers peers at you and then appears to recognize you, and she waves and she's like, "Come on back." She makes the "come on back
with
here."
The arm the apprentice is adjusting, and they'll be like, "Oh."
The
sorry.
apprentice is like like wiggling back and forth. Hold still. Okay. So do you go back to talk to the blacksmith?
Did you say she gestured for me to come over to her?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll head back.
Roll
And,
me,
Drew starts playing Marvin Gaye through his drum. No.
roll me a perception check.
What? Me?
Quentin, yeah.
Or Drew? Oh,
No,
sorry.
Quentin.
Marvin Gaye.
No, Drew is not actually doing this, but I like the idea.
I like that he's
Perception?
yeah.
14.
So you are walking between these two tables, and you just right as you're about to you notice this when it's too late. You trip right over this string, and you absolutely go flying. However,
Good.
she doesn't catch you because she's turned back to her forge. So she turns back around after hearing the cacophony of a fully armored, fairly large man crashing into the ground. Humanoid crashing into the ground. And she turns around and she looks at you, and like, I think you take like a face plant. I think you just like, so like you look up and your face is covered in.
Straight out over my head on the ground.
And she just starts laughing. And like, she can't breathe. She's laughing so hard, and she's like, like, she's very ungraceful. She's like snort laughing and stuff. She thinks what you have just done is hysterical. She actually goes to lean back on the forge that's hot, and then like catches herself and like, wiping tears off, and just, she is definitely laughing at you. She thinks you're funny. And she does come to help you up at one point.
I'll kind of get up.
Point of order.
Mhm.
Last time they met, he was green.
Yes, thank you. I was, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So she does help you up. Do you say, no, that was good. Do you say anything?
I would have to imagine that if I tripped on something as small as the string's probably broken, and
I think you do. Yeah, I think the string's broken because I think the tables that it was tied to are probably extremely sturdy.
right, yeah. So I probably wouldn't see the string itself.
Yeah.
I'll stand up and kind of look back confused and kind of scratch my head and kind of like smile sheepishly and be like, when I do this, and like the adjustments do need to be made, but he's using,
so
like,
no explanation for
nope.
for tripping.
He's
You're just
he's gonna just kind of like pretend it didn't happen, and like using the biggest moves required to demonstrate the things that do need to be adjusted, but also he's gonna try and work in maybe some flexes as he does it.
great. She's looking at you kind of quizzically, right? Like it's clear she's following the movements, and you see like a small smile, but she's also kind of like, her eyes are flicking back to your face, like she's, and she stops you moving, and she kind of looks at you and like looks at you from either side, and then she points at you in your face. She gestures to her face but points at yours, and is like, what happened?
Oh yeah, there was a curse. I'm not normally green. This is my regular skin that I'm wearing. I'm not usually green. He fixed it, and I'll point out Harlick. It was nice of him.
She roll me an insight check.
And for reference, like Quentin is. I mean, I guess there's a photo. Never mind. Forgot about that.
Yeah, he looks like that. Yeah,
He looks like that.
he's pale.
Looks like that. That's his
You said-
one.
Did you say insight?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's pale and he has like pale silver hair. And they're kind of in like braids back. Insight is a 17.
You can tell that she looks a little disappointed.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, so she she starts adjusting the shield. She fixes all the points. She actually gets to one point, and she tugs on it like she wants you to take it off because she wants to move something. And so she gets it off your arm, and she's kind of twisting it, and she knocks a knuckle on it, and then looks like she's thinking. And then she knocks on the table in a rhythm, and an apprentice whips their head around and comes over. And she starts pointing at the shield she's talking to the apprentice, and like she kind of warps it a little bit. You can see the metal flex. And then she knocks on it and like tips an ear, and you see the apprentice tip an ear too, and he goes, "Oh yeah, okay." And she kind of looks at him like, "Yeah," and like hands the apprentice the shield, and he looks like terrified. He's like, "You want me to do you want me to fix you, maid? Do you want me?" And she just shakes her head like, "Don't be a dork, just go." And he's like, "Okay," and he like walks away with your shield arm. And she turns back to you, and she's like, she like points up at the sky, and then she like flips her hand forward to sort of mean like tomorrow.
It'll be done tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll be in town overnight if you eat food. And then he'll just walk away.
She's like listening, and you walk away, and then she's like, "Oh." Like she doesn't really know what to do with that, and you've already walked away, and like your back is to her. She's just like, so like Marthala and the rest of them could see her like realize that he just asked her out, and is like, but you like walked away, and like
I'm
that
not
she
running away. I'm walking quote unquote normally away, but I turned around
Yeah, but
so I didn't have to see her reaction. She was already upset I wasn't green.
She kind of gets awkward too. So if you turn around to look at her, she's gonna turn around really quickly to hit the forge with a hammer a couple times uselessly.
Is there anything on the
Dungeon
No.
Master?
Yes.
From a casual observer's point of view, does she seem horrified that he just asked her out, or does she seem like shy?
Roll me an insight with advantage because you're a girl.
Whoa, unfair.
It's
Just
not
to
unfair.
Absolutely
like-
fair.
It's accurate to real life.
Insight, say? Insight?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 19.
Oh shit.
Girl power, man.
Uh-huh.
Apparently.
I wanted to write down that we're going to be in town overnight if you eat food. And then
It was
turns
real
around.
good. It was real good.
Okay, so with the 19, you can tell that at first she was confused, like at what he was saying, and then when she realized that he asked him out, it looked like she was going to be like, "Oh yeah, yeah," like, but then she looks sort of discouraged because he walked away so fast. So you can tell she's sort of doubting herself, like, well, maybe he didn't ask me out if he's walking away, and then she does that thing where he's like, "I don't know if he likes me."
That being the case, I'm going to meet Quentin halfway, turn him around, and give him a gentle shove back direction.
She's furiously pounding on nothing on the forge.
Oh, I don't know, kind of look back at Marthala, like nervously.
And I'll
what?
encourage him to silently
double hand.
hand waving.
I mean, we're staying. I forget the name of the place.
Candlestick Inn.
That's it. We're Candlestick Inn is where we stayed last time, so we'll probably stay there. And they have food.
When you start talking, she sort of turns back around and is paying very close attention, but she's sort of fidgeting, and it's very strange. Like, this is a very strong, confident lady, and she's sort of like, and so you get done, and then she nods very firmly, like twice, like.
Yeah, and you know, how much do I owe you for the shield fixes? He's trying to make like it.
And she says, you know, she's like, no, The apprentice was coming back over with the shield, and he says, "No, we have a guarantee if there's something wrong, and there's a weak spot in this. We're gonna reinforce that.
Oh.
I have an
do
idea.
lifetime repair?
Yeah, I mean, if you break it, you know, but this has a weakness in it that we want to repair, so that's on us."
Oh. How close attention is Marthala paying to Quinn right now?
Oh God, this is the best entertainment she's had in years.
She will see a very rosy colored light bulb turn on in his brain.
Yay!
Wait.
Oh, Drew's just watching this too. This is fantastic.
Wait, no, I missed it. What just happened?
If they have lifetime repairs, like if something breaks, he can get it fixed here, right?
Yeah, discounts,
You can
things like
keep
that.
breaking stuff.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, even though Shauna didn't get it, I'm gonna say that the blacksmith follows that thought and like grins at you, like, yes.
He'll blush a little bit bronze and like that's good. I mean, I take good care of my stuff, but that's good to know. Thank you.
I was gonna have her hold up her wrist and like tap it, like for a wristwatch, but I don't know if they have those in this world.
Let's see, why not?
You're the DM.
I'll have her-
You decide that.
I'll have her point up at the sky.
Uh,
I think she'll point up at the sky again and like look at you quizzically, you know, like, and like wave her hand back and forth, kind of to imply like, when do you want me to?
What time?
Yeah.
We'll probably be, just after sundown. We'll get dinner. We have some more business.
I believe
but,
it's wrist sundials.
Wrist sundials, right?
wrist dials
From-
are clear.
No.
Yeah.
From behind Quentin, I whisper very loudly, "You should ask if she has any dietary restrictions."
She turns bright red because she sort of like pivots a little and realizes that all of you are staring at this. She pivots.
Fine.
She pivots back to
Harlan
Quentin.
is
I don't
taking
have that
notes.
much invisibility, guys.
Harley is taking notes. Wait, Brandel,
Definitely
you
taking
turn
notes.
invisible again?
Oh, no. I'm
Oh.
just saying I don't have that many invisibility, guys.
And she pivots back to Quentin and like has sort of a fixed face and is like, she kind of gestures like, "I'm good. We're good. Yep, I'll see you then. Bye." And
I
like
think
waves,
he
like,
makes
"Go
the
away."
makes the same realization that everyone's watching and is just absolutely horrified, and just silently nods his head and turns around and walks away.
As he turns around,
Mhm.
God.
Oh God.
this is a blacksmith shop, right? There's probably like, horseshoes or hooks or
All that.
all sorts of implements like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, as he was, turned back around, doing this just embarrassing display of I don't know what, probably not paying very much attention to what's going on. I'd like to hook
Nope, super not.
a hook of some sort or a chain, something like that, to the back of his pants and then to the table,
Okay.
with the intent of ripping his pants as he walks away.
Now, to be clear, canonically, Quentin does have leather pants and some strong leather belts. So I don't know if it's up to the DM whether it would rip, but it would absolutely knock him on his ass if nothing else. Like, but backward.
I would like a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I would like to give you nothing more. Oh, guys, I only rolled a 10. That's a 17.
I'll give you advantage
Oh,
because
no.
I'll give you advantage because you're invisible.
Yeah,
You really want
Yeah.
your husband's character to be super
that's a 21.
I'm enjoying this.
Oh, he's not
Um,
paying attention for sure. But
Yeah, I'm not going to ask for a perception check from you. So how fast are you walking away? Is this like you're making a beeline for the exit?
not running, but you know that fast walk where like if you bump into a shelf in a store and like everything rattles and you're like, heh heh heh, and then like try to leave the store. It's like that.
Okay, and Relic, did you hook this like on his belt or like?
I was thinking belt loop kind of before he described his hot pants that he
I mean,
wears.
there was
I think. Okay, what if?
The chaps that he wears daily.
No, like there's like a sheath for my rapier and like knives and stuff. There's
Hang on.
absolutely ample opportunity to hook through a belt.
Hang on. Okay, so what if What? Yeah. So the belt is hooked through bits of the pants, I think. What if what happens is he's walking forward fast enough that when the chain gets taut, it swings him into a table, the corner of a table, and he gets tangled up in a stool and he starts to kind of go over, but the way the chain is like caught on stuff, it starts to like pull his pants down very slowly.
Nice.
Yes, that is acceptable.
Okay, that happens.
Is Druge close enough to catch him?
I don't know. Relic, would you have done this closer or further away from the blacksmith?
Well, I would have had to do it wherever he was standing because I couldn't carry a chain across the.
Then Druge, no, I don't think so. I think this happened back
Fair
by
enough.
the.
We're gonna watch this happen.
You tried.
One last final piece. I will be standing over back near the crowd now, and as soon as like the chain goes taut, and he like jerks and trips over the stool, and his pants start to slide down, I'm gonna do a very grown-up thing and cast minor illusion, for just a big fart noise.
Very grown up.
And you become
Very
visible now, right?
Yep, as soon as I cast the spell, I pop back up.
Invisibility to make a
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And on that note, I think we're gonna take a quick break.
Welcome to Treasure Tuesday, where traffic children have a dating sim and make fart noises. It's great, ladies and gentlemen.
A collective dating sim, no less.
can I
Like
give
not
you one
even
response
not
to
even
that?
just a dating sim.
Nope, the whole group's
I think-
involved in this.
As the fart noise is heard and he's about to hit the ground, Quentin's just gonna blink as far as he can out of the shop, which means he'll land on his face outside the shop.
Not in the shop.
Will your
Relic,
pants
you're a
still be
tool.
on?
I mean, I don't think my pants came off.
They're around his ankles, so probably.
Okay. Yeah, that's where we're gonna leave it. I do want to call out. Tyler mentioned. Tyler quoted back when Quentin was like, "This is like my normal. This is the skin I usually wear." Yeah, that's totally normal. And then Tyler asked if she's nonverbal. Yeah, I could not remember whether she was deaf or not, so I leaned into the nonverbal side. I'm not. I can't quite remember. I think she's mute. Yeah. It doesn't super matter. She
Because
communicates as well as she does.
She makes
Yeah.
like the knocking noises, etc. I think like that's.
Yeah.
I think she's mute but not deaf.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
that might
she
be an
definitely she definitely
extrapolation.
didn't
of it.
speak.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna take. Does anybody need to take dogs out?
She's passed out now.
It's a 5-minute break. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alright.
I won't move. Then she won't wake up.
All right, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Chat. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in chat, and I'll answer them over the break. So we will be back. Let's call it 15 minutes after the hour. So we'll be back in a little over 5 minutes. Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Stream. We'll be right back. Okay, I think we're live. Hang on.
Counting doesn't count if you complain at it for a while.
You're good.
I didn't do it.
Right.
Okay, stream, we are back. We are back. We are back, and I believe we left it at Quentin blinking out of the blacksmith area with his pants around his ankles. Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
Great.
This is what D&D is for.
Okay. What does everyone else do when they see Quentin slowly get pantsed and then blink out of existence?
Well, I gotta wait
Take
for my
note.
sword.
True. As it happens, the apprentice walks over to you with your sword, bright red because they saw that happen, and says, "Your sword, milady."
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, has anyone seen Relic?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm right here. And then I'll fist bump Randall.
But I, little boy.
Oh, okay. Hello, miss. Yes, you can carry on now.
Thank you so much, young one. You'll make your mother proud. Okay, here your full copper.
My mother's dead.
I just combined those sentences that you all said, and it is nonsense. Marthala gets her sword back. Jesus.
Good.
Okay, what do you do after you get your sword back? What's everybody else doing? Are you all just standing there silently, appreciating that Quentin got pantsed and then disappeared magically?
Was there any indication as to the direction Quentin blinked in?
I don't think so. Quentin? Is
I
there like a
don't know
blue
how that would be
line
indicated.
pointing in your butt's
No.
direction?
Is it like
No,
a
it's
tracer blink? Or...
No, it's more like Nightcrawler. Like there's just like a. He's gone.
Oh, okay, okay.
At which point, Druge will kind of periscope his trunk and kind of sniff around for Quentin adjacent things, which really is just sniffing around for fancy perfume at this point.
Yeah, it's just been dumped in perfume.
In thoughts.
I think you are. Well, roll me a perception check with advantage.
I can super do that. That is a 17.
Yeah. So you can very clearly tell he's probably just right outside the building, right?
I think it's only like 30 feet. Look.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're probably right outside the building. Probably right outside the front door. So you can tell where he's gone.
In that case, Druge will head in a that-away direction.
Okay. Brandel, any thoughts on the destruction you have wrought with your actions?
I mean, no, just yeah.
Okay. And Harlick, what are you doing? You were taking notes while the awkward was happening, right?
Yeah, and once there's the bamfing, he'll probably be like, what? Shoot, fear his notes. And then looking around for Quentin.
Okay. So are we all gonna file out after Quentin at this point, or is anybody hanging out in the blacksmith for some strange reason?
I think
Marthala would
Harlan
try and
asked-
make it look like she wasn't just like she'd try and be super nonchalant about leaving, not like she's chasing after Quentin, but more like I have my sword. I guess it's time to go now. That was a really nice half elven gentleman that was just in here.
Boy, was he cute.
Boy, was he handsome. I sure wish he would ask me out.
Marthala, can you?
And I'll leave.
Do you think Marthala would say something like, "And he had a cute butt," and then turn bright red and run away?
No, she 100% would not say that about her friend.
Got it. But I wish he would ask me out. That's how you end it before you walk out?
Yeah, 100%.
That's helping.
So, Harlick will ask for some roundish things of the 5, 10, maybe one in the 15-foot-pound range. I imagine that they're probably not using pounds, but that's what he's looking for. A couple of things in the 5-pound range, a couple of things in the 10-pound
like
range.
cannonball type round thing?
Sure. You know, like globs of metal would work well. It's not important why. Just like he's just looking for some fairly inexpensive hunks of heavy things in the 5-pound range.
The apprentice that you're talking to kind of looks puzzled and says, "I'll see what we've got. Are you coming back tomorrow with your friend?"
It would not surprise me to be back tomorrow. Perhaps also the next day. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Nice ambiguity.
Hate ambiguity, but cool. The apprentice is like, "All right," like walks away, head scratching.
Just looking for scraps. Roughly globule. You know, other words that are difficult for random people to understand. You know, spherish.
Yeah, you make some shapes, and he's like, "All right, okay, yeah."
I'll come back. I'll be back later. See you later.
Gives you like a thumbs up.
Things
Okay.
of a non-Euclidean geometry. Yeah.
So I think by the time y'all get outside, Quentin, you've probably put your pants back on at this point, right?
Yep.
Boy, that was strange.
Is that something you can do naturally?
I think he's probably
Or is that
still,
like
his pants on?
still laying
magic of
face
the-
down, just pull his pants up.
No, Drew's would have yanked him more perpendicular to the ground as he's pulling his pants up.
So still
Okay.
covered in dirt / mud, just upright.
We'll just say dirt. He's had his time being a different color. Tyler wants to know if you meant horseshoes or mini anvils, Harlick. You want something round, right? You were being obscure, but you wanted something
Harlick
round.
is just going for aerodynamic in general hopes.
Isn't there a game where you throw horseshoes?
I mean, it's potentially
yeah.
useful to have something that works the same way. He's just really looking for poundage.
Got it. Okay.
Aren't we all?
I'm glad someone else did it. Thank you.
Have I told you?
Oh god.
Have I told?
Times.
Can I nominate that for the RP?
If you can remember it. Have I told y'all that people have asked me if my streams of D&D are family friendly, and I've had to go no, because of this. Sorry, Quentin. What is your reaction to being pantsed and having your entire group walk out and be like, "Oh, hi"?
I can't take anybody with me. I think I'm going to probably just stand up and start walking towards town.
I mean, you're in town. Sure.
Well, yeah, like in through the gates and stuff, because we're out just outside it.
Okay, so you say nothing?
It was inside town.
No,
Yeah.
it's right outside.
There will be a very poignant glare straight at the quote-unquote child, but other than that,
But I didn't, mister. You gotta be nice to me. I'm just hanging out. I'm a little kid.
you'll kick him as he walks past.
You kick the kid?
Notes being
Right in the
taken.
butt.
Notes being taken.
Do you actually?
Do you actually kick him?
Yeah, not like aggressively hard, but like a little like kick in the butt as I walk by. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
If
gonna
he
hit the
kicks Relic, I
ground.
flick his ear.
I'm gonna hit the ground and start squalling.
Oh no.
The guards on the gate.
Oh, he hit me.
The guards on the gate come to investigate.
Relic, I thought you didn't want to get caught.
Look, I can't deny my nature.
What seems to be the problem here? One of them says, and is like glaring at Quentin, like, and the other one helps the kid up off the ground.
He tried to pick my pocket. He's not any good at it, so
Oh, gee, mister.
kicked him in the butt and kept moving.
Roll me a deception
No.
check,
No shit.
both of you, because I know something's gonna come out of your mouth. Relic. Did you roll well for once? You look excited.
I did roll well. You said deception?
Mm-hmm.
I have a +3 to deception, so that makes it a 23 because I rolled a natural 20.
Okay, so
Oh.
the guard
All
immediately
right.
starts glaring at Relic, the one that helped him up and is now holding onto your arm. Relic, what is your response to this?
Oh, no, mister, that's not true at all. My uncle paid him. I'm a poor orphan, and my uncle paid him to get me home safe, but I think they're trying to sell me.
I roll my eyes so hard.
And what was your deception check?
I only rolled a 16.
Quentin will pipe in and say, "Oh, the first part's true. We are hired to escort him, but this is like the third time he's tried that." So
He's trying to sell me. I know it.
The guards, Jesus, why do you do these things to me? The guards sort of, look, because they believe you, right? And, like, Quentin being like, oh, yeah, that's true, you know, sort of backs it up. So the idea they've gotten here is that this group has been hired to escort this little boy, but the little boy is saying something about being sold. But the adult that they believe seems very trustworthy, has said that the little boy was trying to pick his pocket, so he just gave him a kick in the butt. So at this point, you have gone beyond what a casual gate guard is able to do anything about. And so the guy that stood you up, Relic, is going to kind of like brush you off and be like, well, stealing is wrong, young man. You pay attention to your elders. And the other one's going to kind of be like, oh, okay, on your way, be about your business, and like wave you through the gate.
Oh, thanks, mister.
I pick his pocket.
Roll me a sleight of hand.
Oh boy. I'm just gonna be ready if anything happens.
Oh no.
with your no more invisibility.
I only
Oh no,
rolled
I
a
have
3.
something. I have something totally
No.
That is a
different.
10.
Just
That's
right
a 10 on the sleight of hand.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Um,
Oh boy.
so this is a guard. I don't think he has like just a money pouch hanging off of his belt. I think it's like tucked in somewhere. So I don't think a 10 does it. I think he catches you.
Cool.
Rest in peace.
So I think this is probably the moment that Harlech will be like, this boy is under the care of this group. We apologize for his misbehavior. It's been constant.
You
My
see why
apologies.
there's such a big group of us.
You know what?
He'll introduce himself, etc.
Harlech, I don't think I'm going to ask you for a deception check because technically all of that was true.
And as Harlick is explaining this, Drew is gonna reach down with his trunk and just like encircle Brennan with the trunk like around the torso under the armpits and just lift him up.
I mean, Harlick's not much of a deceiver, so he'll be like, as much of this, like, yeah, this person is with us.
I think
I'm sorry.
I
I
think
can't really tell you much.
And like the way he catches you is you go to pick his pocket and he feels it and he reaches around and grabs your arm and looks at you like, I just told you stealing was wrong, you know. And then Harlock steps in and tries to explain, and he like takes your hand out of his pocket or whatever and like lets you go, and like he's listening to Harlock and he's like, yeah, he seems like a bit of trouble. And then Droosh picks him up and he's like, yeah, that seems like the right thing to do. And they're just waving you through like,
This
get out.
idiot, this tiny little moronic child is our responsibility. We apologize for his misbehavior.
Relic, how
We're gonna go.
Relic, how do you respond to this? You've been caught.
Ouch!
They're saying mean
Oh,
things about
my
you.
leg! Oh, look how they treat me. They just pick me
Oh,
up
I'm
like
a
this.
cripple.
Oh, my cane!
I'm a
I
rich
dropped my
cripple.
crutch. Oh, you see this? You see what they do to me? They're trying to sell me.
Do you see
Marthala
what we've
is
had
going
to deal
to
with this entire time? It's terrible.
Marthala is, and DM, you can tell me if I'm allowed to do this.
Mhm.
Marthala is going to straighten her spine and take her most intimidating stance. And instead of going full angel and blasting out her wings, just a little bit of that golden silver light that they're made of is gonna shine through her irises, while she gives Relic a look that could kill.
So
Yeah, I'll
that's the
allow it. That
leader
sounds
of the group.
awesome.
She's pretty upset about it. Just we really don't need to get into details.
I will totally allow that. That sounds awesome. And Relic, how do you respond to a literal angel glaring at you?
I cross my arms over Drew's trunk in a pout and just harumph. Make
Okay.
me go back to a town I don't want to go to, and you're not going to let me have no fun.
Are you talking in that voice?
No, I'm just
Muttering.
grumbling.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, and with that, you enter Walde for the second time. The gate guards are done with you. They're kind of like, go away.
Oh,
Go away.
Do I see any holy men?
Holy shit.
Roll me a perception check.
Oh boy,
Ooh,
getting right
nice.
to it. That's an 18.
So this is a
That's
you're
terrifying.
you're on a main road into town. You know that that sort of like the temple district. Actually, I believe you know exactly where the temple district is because I think y'all did a chase scene through there. That's not actually anywhere near this front gate. And so you catch sight of an older looking man in a brown cassock.
Cossack?
Whatever.
I think
That
we all
robe
know what
thingy.
you're talking about.
Yeah, that robe
Yeah, it's
thingy,
like-
you know,
it's like-
tied with a rope.
Cossack?
and
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so you catch sight of him, and he's, you know, he's priestly. He seems to be coming in town. He's riding a mule. He's quite a bit older.
Does he look
Did-
actual priestly or like fake priestly? I'm gonna argue with other theologies priestly.
He's not wearing the robes that were described to you, like the red and white robes.
So I
Did-
don't
did
have to kill
Relic-
this guy.
Describe the guy to us, or was that Marthala going to the church and asking the ladies? Like, do
We
I
learned
know
it at
what
the
he
church.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
they
so I probably don't know what he looks like.
I don't think either of us know.
no, because I think
Yeah, okay.
Neither.
Well, you know, 'cause you met him.
I think Harlock described
I
him
know
as
'cause I
blue.
met him.
Yeah, but like, I don't think I know.
No, I don't think Brandel knows.
Yeah.
I don't think Relic
Alright.
told us, and I don't think Marthala told us. So I know because I saw them, but I don't think anybody else knows.
Yeah.
That what
Druge
Yeah.
knows, but
So
Quentin
if I
and
see someone
Brandel.
that's like religious, I'm probably gonna like look at him and then look at Relic to see his reaction.
Right, because okay,
'Cause
so
I don't know.
okay,
Yeah,
so
because
hang
I
on.
don't know what the guy looks like, so
Okay.
I don't know what we were.
Okay, hang on. So
Is this the scary religious person?
Okay.
Like, is it this guy?
Okay, hang on. So the group knows that Relic is afraid of a group of priests and wants to run away from them. Okay. The group knows that you're back in town, so you can flash that piece that you found. That sounds weird at Felix, so that you can get paid again. Okay?
Too easy.
Only Marthala and Druge know that the priest that was at the Temple of the Coin Maiden was making his way back to Walde. They're the only two people that know that. So the rest of you are in town to flash that piece. Now,
Right.
I'm not going to say that if you see a priest of some kind, you're not going to whip your head around and look at Relic to see his reaction, because that seems like something Brandel would do, knowing that Relic is running away from priest. Is that a fair summary of what y'all know?
Yeah,
Metagaming
sure.
is hard?
No,
Okay.
that works.
All right. Cool. So you're going to head straight to the Candlestick Inn?
Yeah. I mean, unless
Yes.
someone else wants to just not
It
I don't
is-
have a choice.
It is fairly early in the day, but you do need to talk to Felix first, and he has told you that the best way to get a hold of him is to put leave a note at the Candlestick Inn. So you think about checking back in there? You want to wander around a little bit?
I would be fine going to the Candlestick Inn because I feel like I need to plot my revenge before I find these holy men and split them in twain. But Marthala is noticeably distracted no matter what you guys choose to do.
Are you kind of like eagle-eyed looking around? Because I can have you roll perception checks
Yeah.
occasionally. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you head back to
I
the
think,
Candlestick Inn. Mm.
Oh, sorry. I think Harlick at one of the early opportunities is going to be like, so funds are low. I'm going to go to the bank. If anybody has an issue, like, if we're good. Like, I'm just going to go re-up if anybody has any issues.
Anybody want to go to the bank with
Go to
Harlick?
the bank.
I suppose we probably all should, huh?
Well, you need the note from Felix before you can get paid. Harlick,
Oh.
Harlick probably. Are you gonna wait for that moment, or are you gonna try and re-up, like head by the bank now?
Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're gonna go immediately and maybe get it, sure. But if
No, you gotta wait
if
for
we think
Felix.
it's gonna be a bit,
Yeah.
Then, if Harlick at any point thinks it's gonna be a while, he's gonna go to the bank first.
You'll probably get the note this evening and be able to go to the bank the first thing in the morning.
All right. If I assume nobody else is looking interested, so Harlick will wait.
Okay.
It's not his. Given his earlier, like he might. No.
This is so
like, given
difficult.
his earlier
This is so
discussions,
difficult.
He's probably gonna visit and check. He's probably gonna get a little bit out of the bank this evening before this happens.
Okay, I think you're going by yourself. So everybody else, Harlick, we've been to the bank a couple times. If you really want me to role play you through that, I can. But I think it's safe to say that you can go pick up some money and meet everybody else back at the Candlestick Inn. Is that
Okay.
fair?
So there are no issues this visit.
I don't think so.
Cool.
I don't think there's any reason.
All right.
There are no notes for you.
Just checking. There's some possible hiccups, but if there are no hiccups this visit, great. Done.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
She is
Yeah.
running out of appendages to Team Mom to everyone, so he's trying to keep an eye on Marthala as she looks for people to split in twain. Still holding Brandel as I don't know what he does while being carried around, and trying to keep an eye on Quentin, who is presumably still some variety of red colored. There's only so much he can watch at one time, so Harlick wandering off will just have to wait for later.
So is this the kind of thing where like you're walking along and you've got Relic who might be squirming maybe, and you're looking at Marthala who's like head whipping around, and you're looking at Quentin who's looking at the ground bright red, and Harlick's like, I'm going to the bank, and walks off, and you're like, what? Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's essentially that.
Harlock's low hanging fruit at this point.
Yeah, okay. Quentin, are you looking at the ground with your face bright red, or are you doing something else?
I'm probably marching like straight forward, there's a lot of emotions, so he's probably just walking forward.
Okay. Quentin is having feelings.
Yep. You can once again recap the session with feelings.
No, I'm going to recap the session a very different way, but okay. Relic, what are you doing? Are you squirming in the trunk, or are you still arms crossed, pout?
Well, I believe I've been snagged up by the trunk before.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much know that it's worthless to fiddle about. So instead, I'm just keeping a wary eye out for anything that goes odd. But I am
Okay.
still pouting with my arms crossed.
Okay. Brandel, what are you up to?
I mean, I think I'm just like mindlessly following Druge at this point.
Got it. Okay, I think we are getting close to the end of my ability to hear sounds coming out of these headphones. So can I say you all make it to the Candlestick Inn, and can we pick up there next time?
Sure.
I am
Yeah.
very sorry, but my headache is growing quite
Yeah,
immensely.
absolutely.
So I'm gonna write down they make it. Is there anything you want to do before we break off and do learns and RP points? No? Cool. I think there's a couple of things y'all will want to follow up with me about in your areas, which I stopped looking at, so let me look at those real quick. Got it. So go ahead and toss stuff in there, and we can pick up with that the next time. All right, let's talk about what y'all learned this evening. Once we are done with the learns, we're going to talk about RP points. So chat what that is a role-playing moment. I want the players and y'all, if you'd like to participate, to nominate really good role-playing moments, and then I'll put them in the players' session chat, and they'll be able to vote on which one they liked the best, and that person who gets the highest votes gets advantage on a roll in the next session. So that's coming up. Go ahead and dump those into chat while we talk about what the players learned. What'd you all learn this evening?
Well, I think we've learned that Quentin can 100% not deny the fact that he has a girlfriend now. I think that we can establish with a period at the end of the statement that Quentin has a girlfriend.
Having a pseudo date one time does not a girlfriend make.
Whatever, she likes you.
That is my favorite interaction of the evening. Okay, what else have you learned this evening?
Shit, my mic was off the whole time. So my counterpoint is that Quentin is definitely courting. Like that's my point.
I think the point Marthala and I would make is she probably thinks you're dating.
I mean, yes, but
and we all know that if she thinks you're dating, you're dating.
If she thinks you're dating, you're dating.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Okay. Point made. Moving on. What else did you learn this evening?
Point made. Point made.
What else did you learn this evening?
We learned that Relic is a terrible child. Not in the sense that he's a bad kid, but he is just a literal terrible child. He's awful at it.
To be frank, if you had not rolled that high, like, there's no way. You rolled so high, though.
So what I said before, I realized that I didn't actually have a microphone on, was that Relic should never be turned invisible. That was my...
Yep. That's a good thing to have learned. What did you learn this evening, Brandel? Nothing.
I mean, turns out there's a lot you can do with invisibility that I haven't been doing.
Flip-flops are the way to go, because they can't be tied together as easily.
That's true.
Right? Yeah, I guess.
Okay. What else did you learn this evening? Or are you ready to jump to RP points? I will admit most of this evening was Quentin flirting with the blacksmith.
I mean, Marthala can go a little glowy when she feels like it now.
Yeah.
Was it that, or was it she was just so upset that it was just happening?
the
I mean,
hate
either way, there
my
is
eye.
half Chloe.
Yeah.
There's
Background
the middle
radiation.
ground.
I am very comfortable with that being a thing for Marthala. Like when she gets real pissed, it starts coming out her eyes.
Yeah, that tracks.
Because that would be
It's canon.
terrifying, right? And
Lore.
like
Oh,
I-
yeah.
it is canon and it is lore because it would be terrifying, and I think that is an appropriate reaction to Marthala being pissed, and anything that feeds that reaction is great. I'll give you advantage on intimidation checks when you're that grumpy.
Get super upset. Just
Glowing
white,
tusks, glowing
weeping
eyes.
out.
Yeah.
Tempros intimidate the fuck out of people.
Yep, it's the glowy, and like I imagine that somebody's gonna be like, "You sparkle," and you're just gonna be like, "I can eat you."
I will kill you.
It's
In a
glowing,
heartbeat.
not sparkling. Yeah. Anyway,
Can I also highlight at this point that nat 20 I got against Relic was on a Barden Barbarian D20?
oh, was it?
See,
Rude.
we
Yeah.
finally found
Nice.
dice that work for you, man.
I like that they were Barden. I didn't pick up that in the chat. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
I would like to point out, canonically,
Mhm.
that even though the tank bros are more intimidating, 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna outroll them because it's a charisma stat and I get +7 on intimidation.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I know.
Until it's strength-based charisma.
I'm
And then
sure
you
that has
die.
nothing to do with you being backed by two super scary people.
Maybe, yeah.
There are interesting ways to story that out, but yeah, that's what I find very interesting about this group.
If they're counter scaring, that's an interesting issue.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if you ever try to intimidate each other, but
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
Tank
So,
bro crit fight.
what else did you learn this evening, or are you ready to do your role playing moments?
Oh shit.
I don't think I learned anything else.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Role playing moments for the win. Tyler submits Marthala jumping in and being Quentin's wing pal.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quentin is terrible at like making a move. I feel like that's a big
Yeah.
it's a big moment. Like Quentin's just awful at making a
Yeah.
move.
Quentin.
I was just like, oh, wasn't that a cute boy? Huh.
That
if
was,
only.
I think, the crowning exchange.
That was like the perfect way to end that.
Yeah. Relic for just seizing the opportunity of being invisible to just make Quentin's life hell.
I mean, he was epically terrible.
Didn't even
Like-
hesitate.
Relic is just the agent of chaos we all need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to check my alignment. I don't remember what it was.
Do you? Is that
Well, it's
super
a
necessary? I
thermometer,
feel like
not
you've
a-
established it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't lean into those too hard, but like if I get a paladin that's like, lawful good and starts murdering babies, then I have a conversation about character development and things. But yeah, you're probably fairly
If you were
chaotic.
a lawful good paladin, that would be an
We-
issue.
we-
clearly.
Yeah, we should probably have a discussion if you've decided you're a lawful good paladin hiding under all of that.
No, more that I wanted to know what I put originally, but
What
I
did
put
you put?
neutral. That's good.
Oh
Is
yeah,
it-
you should probably check that.
Are you neutral or chaotic neutral?
I just have true neutral written down.
I see.
I mean, I feel like chaotic works for you, but like that's on you, really.
all right.
True neutral is the actual whatever happens happens.
Any other RP points? Sorry. Any other good RP moments, or would you like to start
I mean,
voting?
turning Relic invisible was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if that was a good RP
so
point. That was a choice.
I wrote down Brandel immediately making Relic invisible and making Quentin's life miserable was what I captured. Should I change that a little bit? Or is that okay?
No. One's for Relic for making Quentin terrible, and then the other is for Brandel for turning Relic invisible.
Got it. Okay.
Ah.
I got it. Okay. Okay, so those are two different ones.
Yeah.
So, Brandel immediately making Relic invisible, and Relic for making Quentin's life miserable
Yes.
while
Without
invisible.
hesitation.
Got it. Okay. Other RP moments. Or are we ready to vote? Okay, vote away, my friends. We've got Marthala jumping in and being Quentin's wing pal. Quentin is terrible at making a move. Marthala, oh, wasn't that a cute boy? Gosh, I wish you'd ask me out. Right before walking out of the blacksmith's. Brandel immediately making Relic invisible. Relic for making Quentin's life miserable while invisible without hesitation. Say that 5 times fast.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, we got 3 votes. Looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The ever difficult decision of having to pick the correct emote. Almost there. What is that? Nail care. Nice. Gotta vote on Quentin is horrible at making a move. The emote was nail care. I could not figure that out. So Marthala's gonna take it with the, oh, wasn't that a cute boy? Gosh, I wish you'd asked me out right before walking out of the blacksmith. I think that was very well deserved. Marthala was on fire tonight. That was really good. I loved all your RP. It was fantastic. Y'all were great.
There are just some things that a girl is going to be better at in this particular situation than a guy. I'm not a sexist, but I'll throw that out there.
Yeah, I know. We were a little goofy tonight about the girly stuff, but I think it played out fairly well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super not educated in these matters.
Well, I'll be interested to see what happens at the Candlestick Inn and what other nonsense y'all get up into. Remember, go ahead and ping me in Discord in your individual channels if there's something you want to do in town, so I can sort of start planning that out in my head. Like if there are shops you want to go to or anything like that, put them in there, and we'll figure out whether we just want to talk through what you did or if we want to RPM. Okay, it's kind of going to be up to you if y'all want to do another like shopping episode or you want somebody to come try and stab you in the middle of the night, something like that. Let me know. All right.
So one we stab in the middle of the night.
Well, you never know. So with that, stream, I think we're gonna say goodnight. Does anybody? Well, before we say goodnight, does anyone want to share where they can be found over the next week?
Come watch Changeling on Fridays.
Yes.
Yes.
It's fun. It's not nearly so dark as Wraith.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you switched to Changeling, so it's got a lighter tone.
Much lighter.
Changeling is like a complete.
Do you want to?
From Ray.
Our Friday night last time was a bunch of dick jokes. Basically, it was.
So not family friendly. Got it.
Oh, definitely no.
No.
I have a flaw that is foul mouth.
Okay.
After the first
In
5
this
minutes
game?
of the game, it's free. It's free for all.
Fair enough.
No. All right.
Okay.
Does Relic have that flaw?
Anything else that
No,
they
that's
can?
constant. It's
Now,
not
is-
about 5 minutes.
It's
Where
like
can-
like in the strip thing.
Where can they find Changeling? Would that be on Bard and Barbarian? Is that on a different channel?
No, that one is on Q Times. It's part of our World of Darkness Across New York series with B. Dave Walters.
Oh, hey.
Ah.
Is it? Is it?
I dropped it in chat.
Q-U-E.
I can't spell Q times.
Wait.
Yeah, cool. Got it.
Wait.
Chat.
Thanks, Justice.
Check that out. B. Dave Walters runs some pretty good games from what I've seen, so I'd definitely check that out. Anything else you want people to keep an eye out for? Any Saturday morning cartoons or anything else from Bard and Barbarian?
I don't think so. I think we're actually going to start dialing back Saturday morning cartoons in lieu of other things that we want to do with our weekends.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
But
we'll
we're
look forward to
going to be
that.
adding other stuff through the week.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
We're just shifting.
Well, I will look forward to hearing more about that, and I'm sure Stream will as well. Anybody else going to be on the internet and want people to watch them do stuff over the next couple days?
No, I still haven't got my mini painting together yet.
Okay.
At some point.
Broken Bane will hopefully go back this Saturday, and I'm expecting Obo Lauren to join me on Sunday for a Branches and Dragons. I am not nervous at all. Should be fun.
Liar.
Shush. Okay. So with that, stream, if you want to ask me questions or anything, you can find me at like 7spoon. A lot of these dorks are also on Twitter. I'm sure if you ping them, they will probably not be super rude or anything like their characters would be. I think the players are rather nice. So if you want to get in touch with anybody, let me know and I can pass that on. So with that, stream, we're going to say goodnight. Good night, stream.
Night, stream,
Bye.
Bye, stream.